So today we are talking about our top 11 running backs in the NFC. Why 11? Because we're musicians. This one goes to 11. Well, couldn't you just make 10 louder? Yeah, but then this one still goes to 11.
But ours go to 11, so.
Yeah. There are 16 teams in the NFC. However, some of those teams, their running back room isn't as good. Not one running back in that room is as good as some of the RB2s on some of these other teams. So unlike the quarterbacks we did last week, where we did the starting quarterback for each team, we are going to rank these running backs in order regardless of team, right? We're not grading the whole room. We're just grading individual players and the top 11 running backs in the NFC.
Well, first of all, I mean, this was called down from the top. Manny the Main, he called the shot. So he called up Pete the UnAliver. Well, so he's here to whack the entire room. Like if you don't have a running back in the top 11, then you just get whacked. Can I start out?
Yeah, let's let you start.
Okay, we'll start out with the Washington Commanders. We come in. He comes in.
Took care of that thing for you.
You know what? He makes them unalive. The entire room is completely whacked. I mean, who do they have over there? I mean, you ain't got anybody that's going to be in the top 11. So, you know,
that thing for you.
We appreciate you, Pete the UnAliver. Thank you. So one room completely gone. So now the listeners know that you don't have to worry about Brian Robinson being on this. They got two okay backs.
What else we got, Russ? So that's it. The Washington Commanders were whacking their whole room.
Why don't we just go with the one that has the 4'3" quarterback right there? So we bring in Pete the Killer's going to whack that entire Carolina Panthers room.
Took care of that thing for you.
Yes. Carolina Panthers with Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. Tier good backup running backs, but not a lead back in sight in Carolina. I don't think Miles Sanders or Chuba Hubbard meets the threshold of the top 11 running backs in the NFC. So we're whacking the whole Carolina running back room is getting whacked here.
And actually, you could probably make some arguments for Hubbard as we get into this list a little bit later. So we like you guys. But, you know, for the sake of this list right here, we had to call in Pete.
Took care of that thing.
The UnAliver. All right, so there's two rooms gone. So isn't that a little bit faster? I feel like that moves it along.
We don't have to talk about Brian Robinson. We don't have to talk about Chuba Hubbard much because we just whacked the whole room. My favorite thing in the whole world is hating on the Dallas Cowboys behind hating on the Boston Celtics.
What?
So after losing Tony Pollard, they have Deuce Vaughn, Ezekiel Elliott, and some guy I never heard of. That's their three running backs. We're going to whack the entire Dallas Cowboys running back room. They don't have a single back that could crack the top 11. So, Dallas, you're whacked.
When was the last time that you could say that about the Dallas Cowboys? Everybody says that there's no such thing as the cap. The cap is a myth. Well, you don't see the ripple effects until much, much later. It came full circle.
Ezekiel Elliott, you know, in his prime, a top 5 back in the whole league. And when it comes from 1 yard out, there's probably no one else I'd rather have than Ezekiel Elliott. He's still a beast that way. But we're talking about overall running back, top 11 in the NFC. His time has passed. He's too long in the tooth for that.
Every running back that we're going to talk about that's on both of our lists are going to be, you know, elite running backs. These are guys that are going to be able to carry their teams, you know, all of them, really.
Let's keep it right in the NFC East. After losing Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants have what? Devin Singletary? Is that their back now? And we're going to have to whack the entire room of the New York Giants. You paid the wrong guy, as Russell Wayne says. You paid the wrong guy. You paid Daniel Jones, and you let Saquon hang out in the wind on the franchise tag now. He went to your division rival, and now you have no running back in the top 11 in the NFC.
Right. I agree with you 100%. That's a clean job over there. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They just, maybe they can only allowed to have one good New York team. And with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I guess that's the Jets this year.
Brian Daboll, you got a good coach, but you don't have a running back in the top 11. So the Giants get wiggity whacked.
So now we come to the surprise. There was a surprise room here. At least it was a surprise to me, because there's a gentleman that's in this final room that won me a fantasy football championship in 2020. So it's like, man, this is the one that hurts. Like the end of Goodfellas, man. Joe Pesci. you didn't want to see it happen, but, you know, they loved him. They loved him. But, you know, the New Orleans Saints, do not have a running back.
Took care of that thing.
Oh, that was a hard one. That was so hard. Alvin Kamara, I love you, man. You've been a trooper on my fantasy football team for years and years and years. But last year, your production completely went down, and it happens to a lot of running backs that are out there. They no longer have a running back in at least our top 11, Mike. What do you think about that cut?
I agree with it, and it is startling that Alvin Kamara is not in the top 11 running backs in the NFC. But let's look at it. Let's really break it down a little bit here, Russ. When he was winning you that championship in fantasy, he had Mark Ingram there. He still wasn't a feature bell cow back that handled the ball 25 times on the ground every game. He never was that. They had Latavius Murray. They've had Mark Ingram. They've had this slew of other backs that go with him. Now, the most effective true runner on the team is Taysom Hill, who's a quarterback tight end combination. And he's the most effective runner in a ground game. Alvin Kamara is still an effective receiver, but he just doesn't do enough in the rushing game to make it into the top 11 running backs in the NFC, in my opinion, and yours as well.